So before we order the data, let's review what we've done. We've downloaded CFT and loaded it so that we have all the functions that we need. After we have all the functions that we need, we went and we requested a menu. That requesting a menu also made a connection, which we'll later use to download the data. But it did the handshake. It got a list of the available data and returned it in an R format. We then spent some time cutting out the things that we didn't want from that table. And that left us a smaller table. And that's the table that we're going to use. Okay, so we have this small table of menu items that we'd like to order. And we have established a connection. So we're able to put orders in. So now I have this function, this little script. It's not actually a function. I just put together a script where I'm ordering the data. So first I say, hey, connection. This is that connection that we already built during the data request, the menu request. And then we're going to use these specialty functions to filter out the data directly from the server. So where before in the menu, we used filter to just say, just give me this stuff, or just give me this stuff, or just give me this stuff. Well, now I'm going to use hyperfilter to say that same thing, but I'm going to say it to the server instead of to my own table. What's really cool about this is that this goes into the server and pulls out just those data and pulls them over the internet and gives them to it. This is much different than the old way of doing things, which is you go download the entire data set and do all of this cutting on your own computer. So we've put in a little bit of work ahead of time to figure out exactly what we want. And then we go and just order those things and they come on this really nice platter served up to us. So we have our 3 filters that I told you. Actually, there's an extra. Oh, yeah. Sorry. The filters are the bounding box, so the spatial filter around the polygon. So this is our area of interest filter. So we want to first pick only our area of interest. Then we add the time filter, right? We cut that time data table down. So we're going to give it that data table that we made here. And then the variable data table that we made, we're going to give it to it there. So our ordering menu has what is the bounding box that we want to contain. We want all the data within this bounding box. 2, we want them for this amount of time. And 3, these are the variables we want. And then finally, turn it into an SF object for me because we like SF objects around here. So when I hit that, that should only take, if you're only doing one variable, this should only take a minute or 2 to pull all of these data. Okay, so what you see here are I've pulled the precipitation for those times. And then they are aggregated into this point cloud. Again, that looks like gibberish until we plot it. So let's plot this again. Okay, so here we are. We have downloaded precipitation data for Christmas for 2099 for all of these points across the park. That's what we now have in our data set. We can do lots of things with those. One, we can just plot them like you saw above. But 2, we can start fusing them into rasters. So if you're a lover of raster data, we can melt them into rasters, and then we can use those rasters to aggregate data. So after I've made that raster, I can come together and say, okay, what's the average precipitation across the entire polygon? And that is what I have here. So the point of CFT is to help you download these data. So what you're going to do is download CFT on your machine. You're going to use that to access the available menu. You're going to cut that available menu down to the things you want to order. You order those things, and then when they're delivered, you sort of start playing with them spatially.